Right, so just going to mask this for primer now. It's all cleaned, blown it off, and yeah, we're ready for masking for primer. So probably what I would normally do is I would mask the whole job for painting and then just section off a little bit for primer, but it can get a bit messy, and we'll do 2 separate maskings on this. So just got a roll of 1-inch tape, and I have got a small roll of masking paper, 18-inch. But you could use newspaper, but if you do use newspaper, I'd recommend on the areas where the paint's going, like the closest, I'd probably put 2 layers on, because solvents can leak through newspaper, or plastic sheeting would work as well. So I'll just do the lining out first. So we need to just prime a little bit further than where all our scratches end from the repair. So our scratches end just above the repair here, round here. It's all scratched around there and here. So these trims are on. So I'm just going to mask the trims off by just getting the tape and tucking it under it, and then taping it down. So we go a little bit further with it, a bit further than we need to with the tape. So we'll mask this off, and then I'll show you how to do like a soft edge. You can use your nails to tuck it in. Use your nails to tuck it in, or use your spreader. If you can't get it in there, just to tuck it in, tuck the tape in, want it is in as much as possible around the corners. And then here, I'll show you here. So on this side, we haven't really got a back mask here. We can use this little lip as a masking line because the trim goes over that. We'll cover that. We'll put a piece on that ridge there. But if this was like a bumper, open-ended bumper, what I would do is, if you've got your tape, just put half of it on the back of it like that. In fact, we do it this way anyway. And then that's called like a back mask. And then this sticky side stays out. Like that. And then to do a soft edge, it's literally, there's 2 ways really. We could put this tape on here like this, stick half of it down and roll it over, which is easier. Or if you wanted to have a go at doing it, take a piece of tape, get your knee, try and fold a section of it over, and then just pull it along and create yourself a little flap. So there's 2 ways there. You could do it that way, which we'll leave that like that, and then there's this way. So we'll just want to go a bit further than our scratches. So 320 scratches finish here, because we want to sort of feather the primer up. I'll probably go a little bit higher with that, up to there. And just take that down a little bit, so it just creates a little bit of a pocket for the overspray to go into. And then the same with the soft edge one, and we'll just go a little bit further away with it. So 320 scratches end about here, so we'll go about 1 inch away from that. That's it. Now all we need to do is just put some paper around these areas. So obviously we're not painting it here, but we want to keep the primer away from this edge where we're going to do a soft edge mask on there when we paint. So you don't want any primer up on that edge, you want to keep it away. get it to where you need it, get some tape. Tape it to where you've put your line. Right, so that's it, all masked up now, and yeah, all masked up to the lines I put in with the tape, masked up to it, just sort of make sure there's no gaps where it can creep through, press it all down, and just tape, you know, secure your paper so it doesn't flap about if you're outside in the wind, and yeah, that's it. So we've got a bit of room to blend the primer up here, and a little bit of room here, and a little bit of room here, so we just want to prime and let it drift up to that. We don't want to prime right up to the edge. If you've got more room on your bumper, then give yourself a bit more room, but we want to try and keep it as small as possible this way for our colour and our clear coat to be able to blend out and keep it small, otherwise we're into doing the whole panel then. So yeah, so this is just a high build aerosol primer. This one's made by Monofil, which is made by MIPA, but if you get your aerosols, get it all from the same place. You get it from Halfords, you get your colour mixed in an aerosol, or any of your local paint factors. All this stuff that I've got is supplied by Paint Services in Cirencester. They'll be able to sort you out with all of these products I've got here. They've supplied all this for this job, so it's a bit of a shout out to Mark at Paint Services in Cirencester. So some high build primer, we've got our colour mixed in the can from the colour code in solvent, and then we've got our single pack 1K clear coat. You could get 2K clear coat, but I'd probably, if it's your first time doing this, I'd probably just use a 1K for now. But you can get a 2K as well that activates in the can, but we're just going to do this with 1K. So primer, obviously want to give it a good shake. If it's cold, I'd recommend warming up the can with your hot air gun or your hairdryer and get some warmth in it, or leave it indoors, or soak it in a bucket of warm water. Same with the other paints as well, make sure it's warm. But it's a nice warm day today. These have sort of been out in the sun, so they're not cold. It's better to have them warm. The paint comes out a bit finer, atomizes a bit finer and a bit smoother. So the usual, good shake. And if you're not used to spraying for an aerosol can, if you don't want to go straight on with it first, get something sort of with a smooth surface, like an old bucket, the outside of an old bucket or a tub or something, and just have a couple of practices getting used to distance and how much comes out. Less is more really. We'll just want to, all these paint applications with rattle cans, want to try and keep the coat sort of light. You don't want to be horsing on loads of product in 1 or 2 coats, because you'll have loads of problems with it not drying, peeling and reacting and all sorts. So we just keep it light, and we do more coats but with less product on there. So if you just put the first coat on really light, just keep your passes sort of, do them individually if you're not used to it. So just do it like that. When you get to your edges, maybe do your edges first so you're not going completely up to the masking. Just keep it nice and light. Then get your hot air gun or your hairdryer. You could let it air dry or use your hot air gun just to help it. Keep it quite a distance away, just let the warmth just start flashing it off. Sort of check it on your mask if it feels dry, lightly touch it, a little bit of warmth on there but it feels dry. If it is a bit warm, maybe let it cool a little bit before the next coat goes on. We'll probably do 4 or maybe 5 coats, but light coats. Key really with rattle cans is to try and keep the coats light. Don't put loads on there because you just have problems with it. So sort of, after a couple of coats, sort of cross it as well. So go one way, one direction, and then go in the other direction. So it sort of evens it up a little bit. But it doesn't have to be super wet or anything. Just build it up in small light coats and it will dry right through properly and you won't have any issues. Right, so that's the primer all done now and dried off. Yeah, need to give it a bit of time, don't rush it, but sort of check it with your nail that it's not like you can dig a nail in it, but just check it in a low area. That feels hard to me. So that was four coats, that was 4 light coats. If you're just air drying it, sort of give it about 10 minutes between each coat. And I would probably give that half an hour if you're air drying it. But if you've got a hot air gun, just keep warming it up a little bit and let it cool down and get it nice and dry. So I'm going to leave this masking on because now we're going to flat this with 800 grit wet. So I'm going to take this masking off from the top, just lift it out of the way. I'm going to take this masking off here because we need to sand this overspray out. But I'll leave all this on so any mess and water, you know, primer water, just go on the mask and it's safe having to clean all them trims up. And again, same with this soft edge up here, just move it out of the way. But we'll leave the masking on. So 800 grit production paper. This is a really cheap one. It's quite stiff. So you just want a square. And we're not going to block it, we're just going to do it by hand. So just grab the paper in your hand, so it's sort of like that, and you hold a corner of it with your thumb. Get your water, you could use a bucket of water if you wanted. Wet the paper. And we just want to do light in circles really. just let your hand sort of contour around the shape that you're rubbing down. Keep cleaning off the primer. You can feel the texture smoothing out under your hand when you're rubbing it. Just keep it in circles as much as you can, not too much pressure. That's about it. I've just broken through a little bit there, so while it's still got this masking on, I'm just going to puff a little bit more primer over that, just a couple of light coats, and just give that a tiny little knock off, and that'll be fine. So we'll just give it another bit of a clean with some water. So with maskers before, tucking the tape in around there, little back mask off of there, and then we're going to tuck the tape in along this feature, tuck it under that, and then I'll show you what we do on here when I get to it. We'll put a hard edge of tape along there, and then we either do the flip tape or the fold over soft edge, whichever's easier for you to do. And yeah, that'll be good enough. So we'll go a little bit further than where our Scotch marks have gone to, because we need a little bit of an area to blend. So we're masking, you know, quite a bit further down, just to protect the trim from any overspray. Right, so that's it all lined up, all the tape's lined up. So I've done a masking edge about 1 centimetre away from this feature line. So we're going to do all the paper around all the area first, and then we're going to do our flip tape just off of this line here. And like I say, you can either do it the way I said, where you can, if you push it onto the line, you can see the line there, and then roll it back and tape that back. Or you can do the soft edge, take a piece of tape, fold the edge over and roll it over, and you could do it that way as well. This is a little bit better I find than that, and then this will then sit on that feature line there like that, and it will give you a little bit of a pocket for the paint to drift under, and we can polish that in afterwards. So that's the soft edge tape on there. Yeah, if you're struggling to do the soft edge tape, then you can do the flip tape where you just roll it back on itself and tape it down. If you want to go further, right past where we're blending to here, and then we just put one piece of paper here and leave it open so it creates a pocket for us to be able to drift into there. Right then, YouTube, we're all ready to paint. So to give it another pre-clean. So with a clean microfiber, whatever you're using for pre-clean, whether it's Windoline or some alcohol based or solvent based, whatever, we'll give it a pre-clean. We use a microfiber, and we use a microfiber as our tack cloth as well. So, you know, I'll show it without using a tack cloth as well this time. So I'm not going to use an airline in case you haven't got an airline. So we use the hairdryer as a blower. Just put on first satin. Right, so we've got a colour, and we're just going to do it again, a bit like the primer, really good shape. If you want to have a little practice it on something smooth, like a piece of plastic, like a bucket or something like that, just to get used to seeing how the paint goes on there, how it layers up. So we'll give it a really good shape. We've sort of blown it off now, and we've wiped it with that microfiber to get off any debris or whatever. I've blown off the masking as well. It's quite a still day today, so it's not too bad. And again, this will probably take 2 or 3 coats, and just light. Make sure the can's nice and warm, and we just put it on in light coat. So as we go, we want to sort of blend a little bit further for the second coat, and then the third, and sort of flick it out a little bit as we do it. Brilliant. Well, the can's just spat that out, so we're going to have to dry this off, and then I'm going to just sand that off a little bit. They can spit sometimes. I need to go back in the booth, I think, with a spray gun. So if you do have any issues with like what's just happened there, that the aerosol spat a little bit first before it came out, or if you have anything land in it or something don't quite look right, just take your 800 grit. You could just use it dry, and make sure this is dried right out the base coat and it feels nice and dry. And you could just sand little bits out and then just recoat with some more base coat. Right, so I'm having a bit of issue with the can splattering. So I've almost got the coverage now, so I'm just, it sort of feels a little bit rough. So you could do this as well if you're having some issues, if it doesn't feel right, the base coat. So I've got the coverage there, so I'm just going to use a bit of dry 800 production paper and just lightly scuff over it, and then just give it one more sort of light coat, and hopefully it won't splatter on me. Same if you've got some bits that have landed in it, you can just give it a little scuff over with the 800 that you use for sanding the primer down. Just use it dry, and then just take the top off, and then just one light coat will cover them scratches, no problem. Again, do your cleaning. Blowing off. And do your blending out. Or a bit further away and just let it flick across it. Right, so we're ready for clear now. I managed to get a light coat on there without it spitting this time. I was holding the trigger back a little bit, the nozzle back a little bit. I think what happens is it, I'll show you. Pressing it a bit too hard and the paint sort of catches the edge rim of the can, but is what it is. I'd rather use a spray gun, to be honest with you. But anyway, so that's got covered, it's all covered, and I sort of just flicked it out a little bit, but light coats, 3 coats, I'd give that a good 10-15 minutes after the last coat. So just let it gas off and dry right out. But if you notice, there's like dry overspray here, so the microfiber should get that off. And so yeah, this is a clear, good shake. I'm going to do 3 coats. First coat a bit lighter and then a little bit wetter. Seems a bit more controlled, this aerosol. I've just had a little go with it. Whereas some of them aerosols, it shoots out so fast, it's hard to control it, you know, if you're doing a small area like this. So do the same again, microfiber cloth. And the hairdryer, and we'll blow it and wipe off any overspray. So we give it good 10 minutes between coats. That's sort of a light coat. Don't worry about any of this overspray up here. It will all polish off when we go to polish. We're going to go a bit further with a second coat. I have got aerosol fade out thinners, which I probably am going to use on this, but if you haven't, it's not a problem. It will flat off a little bit and polish, which is what we'll have to do with this. Once it's all finished, it will need a bit of a flat and a polish, because being rattle can, it can die off a little bit. So yeah, we'll let that dry, give that 10 minutes, get second coat on, and then third coat. That's the second coat. Sort of, that's how wet you want it really. We don't want to go too wet with it. I will go a bit wetter with the last coat, but we'll give that a good 10 minutes now to dry off. And yeah, it will need a little polish just to make it sort of look a bit better when it's dried right off, because being a 1K product, it won't have the depth of gloss like the paint on the car. But you can get that gloss near enough there with a bit of flat and polishing at the end. So we give that a good 10 minutes, and then we'll put a final coat on. Right, so one more coat to go on there now, and get a bit of a wetter coat on. Just going to use the microfiber just to take some of that overspray off there where it's fading out. Just take some of the dust away. I will use fade out thinners on this, but you don't have to, because we can flat that in. I have got some aerosol fade out thinners, so if you have got it, then yeah, use it. If not, it's not essential to get that if you was going to do something like this. Give it a little bit of a blow off with a hairdryer. For a wet one. Bloody wind's taking it away.
Yeah.
keep it wet all the time is quite difficult. Right then, there we have it. I'll give you a look. See, it's still a bit wet at the moment. You're never going to get, you know, ultimate gloss like you would with 2-pack, but you can get a decent finish with it. And I sort of doubled up with that last coat just to get it on there a bit wetter, but it's not essential because it's sort of, you manipulate it a little bit with your flat and polishing afterwards. So now this would be best just to be left now. Left overnight would be ideal really. Let it cure right off, and then that's what I do. And then I'll just show a bit of polishing on it, just with that little drill head. Well, I see I haven't got a bigger one. I could do with a bigger one really, but so yeah, I'll just show some polishing just to give it a little bit more extra gloss at the end. And then we'll look at the completed job. So yeah, I'll leave it overnight now, put it indoors, leave it overnight, and then do some polishing on it in the morning. Right then, YouTubes, I mean, it's been left now overnight, so I'll give you a quick look. I left it in, I've just put it in the spray booth overnight. So if you've got a garage, obviously put it in a garage. Just don't want it to get wet really. But that's what it looks like. It's not too bad at all for an aerosol lacquer. Finishes a little bit tight, but yeah, we can improve that now with a bit of flat and polishing. So yeah, this would be the final stage. We'll do a little bit of flat and polishing. I'm going to try and do this with, so like I said at the beginning of the video, you could really do with a bit of 2000 grit sandpaper, but you only need like one piece of it. So I'm going to try and do it with this small little buff head on a drill. This isn't an ideal setup. This buff head's a bit small. This backing pad's not really for a buff head. Ideally you would want something about this size to do it. Obviously this is a little mini polisher, and you know, if you don't want to go to the expense of buying a little mini polisher, there will be real cheap options out there to go on drills. Just want like a medium density foam back pad, either waffle type like that, about that size, or you know, the flat type, and a backing pad that would go into a drill. That would be fairly cheap. Just a medium cutting compound, small bottle. You know, if you're going to sort of trying to tackle a job like this yourself, and you might want to do it a few times, you know, it might be not just a one-off thing. It might be worth investing in just a little bit of, you know, a little bit of equipment. I tried to keep this job to a bare minimum amount of equipment, stuff you can just go out and buy relatively cheap and achieve this type of job. And obviously it takes a bit of practice, but yeah, I'm really trying to show you in this video that you can have a go at this yourself. It's, you know, with minimal stuff, without loads of equipment and expensive equipment as well. So yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to get it all cleaned down, wipe it all down with a clean microfiber and some water. We'll clean the whole bumper, and then we're just going to rub some of this finish. There's not really any dirt, there's a little bit in it, but not a lot at all. Just to improve the finish. If you're happy with the finish that you've got out of the gun, out of the rattle can, then yeah, go with it. It's entirely your choice. Just need to blend the fade out in a little bit with some polish. You could do it by hand as well if you wanted, but yeah, I'm quite intrigued myself because I haven't used aerosols or 1K products for I can't even remember, years and years and years. So I've really enjoyed doing this, to be honest with you, doing it with yeah, with bare minimum really. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how this clear coat polishes as well. Quite impressed with how it went on. But you know, the aerosols, there's going to be loads of variables in how they spray, how they come out. And to be honest with you, the base coat one I had of this, the aerosol, it fired out really fast, and then to try and minimise what was coming out of the aerosol can, I had a few issues with it spitting, but the clear coat was real controllable. The clear coat aerosol was really good. It didn't put as much out, so you could take your time and be a bit slow with it. Some of them are quite ferocious and some of them are quite gentle. So yeah, it's all going to be a bit of trial and error. And like I say, if you're a bit unsure about putting it on something that you're trying to paint, you know, on your car or something, just to find something to just practice putting the paint on. You just sort of want to try and keep it straight. Follow obviously the contour of what you're spraying, and yeah, just have a little practice with distance and how it will, you know, take it to the extreme where there's too much going on there, and yeah, just a bit of practice really. But yeah, so yeah, that being said, we'll get this cleaned down, and then yeah, I'll show you what I do with a bit of 2000 grit just to improve this finish a little bit. We've got a little bit of a masking edge here where we've done that soft edge. You know, if you've done a flip tape or something, you will have some sort of edge there, but we can gently manipulate this and take a bit of that out, and then the polisher will blend that in okay. It'll be no problem. Right, so let's get it cleaned down, and we'll get flattening on it, and start some polishing. If you're gonna, you know, do the flattening and polishing part of it, it's essential to just get it super clean, because you don't want anything on the sandpaper that could scratch the paint that you put down. Get your bit of 2000 grit and soak it. If there's anything on it, shake it off. Get it nice and wet, and just a matter of rubbing it a bit now. So if you've got dirt nibs, maybe do the dirt nibs first, rub them out till you can't sort of feel them anymore. I'm just going to go gently over it really. I'm not like sanding it right out, just taking a little bit of the top surface off, bit of the texture off. Sort of, you don't have to go right up to the edges. Keep squirting it off as well, so after you've sanded a bit, squirt that clear coat off with a bit of paper. Keep it nice and wet. It's only gentle, you haven't got to sand it really hard. Then we're getting to near where our blend area is, so we're literally just going to have a little wipe across that with some paper. We'll let the polisher sort of try and do that. Keep wiping it off, and then where we've done our little soft edge in here, we just want to knock a little bit of that off. This is a little bit crept crept under the tape just to take a bit of the roughness off of it. Right, so that's it. Rubbed down, didn't take very long. So that's probably as far as I want to go. Being a, you know, an aerosol product, it's not going to have the film build like it would out of a spray gun with 2-pack clear coat. So we want to be a bit careful, but we just take the little bit of texture off of it just to give it that little bit extra gloss and bit flatter finish. So it's nothing, you know, it's nothing that's too hard to do. Just gentle rubbing and in areas, and just sort of keep it in circles, keep it gentle, keep it clean. So yeah, we took the top bit of texture off of it, and then we'll get some polish on there and just polish it. Like I say, this is a medium cut compound. That should be fine for this, and yeah, I'm going to try it with this. Like I say, you could get a bit bigger head. This is a little bit small for this, but I'm going to give it a go and see what it comes out like. It should be fine. Just put a few bits on your head, push it into the sponge. Put a couple of bits in the area where you're going to start. Do a section at a time and check it, and that's polishing up okay. It probably wants another going over, but yeah, I'm pleased with that for a rattle can clear coat. It's come up right. Well, I am going to use my other polisher now, but I used the drill one just to give you an idea. I need a better drill one really. I am going to get one. You get little hand battery polishers with that, you know, sort of the small heads on. That little head's for like a little nano polisher really, so it's a bit too small for this. It's going to take me quite a while to do it with that, but the principle's there with that small one. So I'm just going to use my rotary with a small on and just finish polishing all this. Now you may have a little mini rotary, or you might want to purchase one if you're going to attempt a job like this. So I'm going to do the rest of it with that, because it will take quite a while with that tiny little mini head. So we're getting near the blend out area now, so once I sort of get these flattened marks out, we just keep going over this, but try not to get it too warm with the buffer. Keep it, or your drill head, keep it moving and keep checking it, and this overspray will buff off eventually. And then obviously be careful on this top line where you need to polish a little bit on this top. So again, just try not to get it too warm, and just keep moving constantly. Don't stay in one spot for too long, because you will burn through on an edge. Right, well that's all the polishing done now, so I'll give you a quick look, and I'm really pleased with the finish for an aerosol. It's come out all right. A little bit of a flat on the polish. It's brought out well. I sprayed this quarter panel and this door probably about a year or so ago, and I had a repair through the door and the quarter panel here, so it would have been blended, and this would be clear coat up here, 2K, and that's 1K next to it on the bumper, and there's not a lot in it. I suppose durability wise, the 1K may not last as long, but if it's looked after like anything and maintained, kept clean and waxed and stuff, it should last okay. So yeah, that's it in the booth. I'll get it outside and we'll have one final look at it, and I'll just go through what I used again, and give you some price indication of some of it as well, and that'll be it. So yeah, I'll just get it outside and we'll have one last look at it. Right, so I've got the Mini outside and we'll have a look, and I must admit, I'm over the moon with it. It's come out better than what I thought, to be honest with you, and I'll be totally honest with you, I didn't think it'd come out that well, but right, let's have a final look at the Mini outside and see what it looks like, and I'm really pleased with it. Really pleased with it. For aerosol cans, I haven't done anything apart from like matte black and stuff with aerosols. I haven't done really anything for years with aerosol cans, but yeah, it's come out okay. It's blended in okay. You know, there's multiple marks and scratches all over this bumper, so we're blending into scratches, but they just wanted that little bit of damage covered up, and they were happy for me to do it this way. I'm not charging them a lot for it because I said what I wanted to do with it, and they're more than happy for me to do it that way. And yeah, that little flat and polish is just give that clear coat a little bit extra depth of gloss and a bit of a better finish. And yeah, it's polished in okay across there. There's a little bit of a masking line, but you could still work at that a little bit more. And yeah, colour looks all right in this light, and the finish looks all right to the quarter panel. So yeah, that's it. I've really enjoyed doing this. This is took me back a bit, to be honest with you. The whole reason why I got this career is when I was a young boy. Before I started doing this, I started doing sort of working in a body shop when I was 14, but before that, whole reason why my dad got me the job in the body shop on Saturdays is because I was always spraying stuff with aerosol cans in his garage. Me and my friends were into radio controlled cars when we were kids, and I just it started from that really. I started spraying the bodies for them, and then I started spraying my friends' bodies on their radio controlled cars, and then that moved to push bikes, and I was always messing about with rattle cans and stuff like that in my dad's garage. And yeah, doing this job sort of brought some memories back, and yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed doing this job with the rattle cans, and I hope this helps everybody out. I hope you know, this is a tutorial, I suppose, that you can take the bits of the information in this video. I haven't edited this video yet, so but I can imagine it's going to be a lengthy one. But yeah, I hope this can help you all out, and you can have a go yourselves to do, you know, to just do small little minor repairs on your car. You don't need loads of special equipment or expensive equipment or materials. You can do it on a budget. It's all available to you, and with a little bit of practice, and you should be able to achieve this yourselves. I hope this helps everybody out that's trying to give it a go, and obviously some of the paint application may take a little bit of practice, but yeah, I could go through sort of the costing roughly. I'll quickly have a look at the invoice for the aerosols. I got a feeling they were around £30. So the mixed colour was £12.95 plus the VAT. The clear coat was £9.71 plus the VAT. MEPA fade out thinner, that was £10.68, but you don't necessarily have to buy that. Then a few little bits of paper won't be a lot. It depends how small a quantity you could buy, but if you wanted to sort of do this type of work and maybe do more of it, friends and families' cars, or to get practice in, then that clear coat you definitely get 2 bumper corners out of 1 can of clear coat. You definitely get about 3 or 4 repairs out of the primer. The primer's probably around the same sort of money, £10 something plus the VAT. Tin of filler, you'd get a few jobs out of that as well. So yeah, probably around £50 for everything to do that job. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, please like, share and subscribe and all that. And yeah, I hope this helps everybody out. And if you've got any questions or you want any advice, if you're going to try and tackle this on your own, then yeah, just comment on this video or reach out to me, and I'll try and answer it and point you in the right direction if I can. And yeah, I'll list all the materials in the description that I used on this. And yeah, I don't think you could get much more bare minimum to do this type of job than what I used. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.